It is a hot, hot day in New York City as we come to you live from 4th and Broadway for a new edition of the Build series. It's Kevin Kenny, and our guest today has been putting out hit records for almost 10 years, which makes me feel incredibly old, but it's true. It's an incredible run he's been on. He's the owner of #1 songs like Black and Yellow and See You Again, and his brand new album, Rolling Papers 2, is out and available everywhere. Please let's show some love for Wiz Khalifa.
What's poppin'?
This is poppin', man. Rolling Papers 2
It really is.
out.
Look at that cover, man. It's so classy.
What's the story behind the cover?
It's just being awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Short story?
That's the face of a man with a plan.
All right, well, I got to ask you a couple questions about how this album came to be before we dive into the tracks.
Yeah.
As an artist, right? As a critic or as a fan of your music, the natural thing we're going to do with this is compare it to the predecessor, right? The first Rolling Papers. Yeah. As an artist, though, how does your approach change when you're making a sequel project to a pre-existing body of work?
I've done it before with like Prince of the City. That was my first mixtape that I ever put out. And then I came back and I did Prince of the City too, after I had learned a lot of things and just changed my style up a little bit, got more mature with it. So I did the same approach with this. It was like, when I did Rolling Papers, I was just coming into the game, like, as far as mainstream, being on the radio and all that. And with Rolling Papers too, I just took all of my experience and, you know, put it to the test.
So why not name it something entirely different? Like, what was there something similar about where you found yourself in life while making this record as you did the first?
No, I just enjoyed Rolling Papers so much. It was so fun. And I just wanted it as my second coming. Like, you know what I mean? I'm coming back out. I got a new body, new look, new dress, new fucking, you know what I mean? I got a kid. Everything is new with me. So it's like, how do I do something brand new? You know what I mean? But still remind people of those good times.
Is this a reset button in a way?
No, it's not a reset. It's like
just a new chapter.
Like you dip me in some ooze and then I come out and I'm way cooler. I was already awesome. It's like I'm way cooler now.
It's even more awesome.
Yeah.
The critics are gonna say it's too long, right? 25 tracks. I love it, but a lot of people are saying, you know, why not edit it down?
I never heard that.
You haven't heard that?
Nope.
Some people are saying that.
Oh.
Why not edit it down, or why make it 25 tracks?
Because I do what I want to do.
Okay, is it as simple as that?
Yeah, I'm the musician, you're the fans, and you listen to what I put out.
As someone that, I like it, that's a great mentality. Own it, you know what I mean? Own it. I dig it. As a music fan, because I know you do listen to a lot of records and a lot of music and a lot of artists, a lot of genres, what is your favorite album length? Like, do you think about that? Because I feel like, especially in hip hop, that's becoming a bigger and bigger topic of
I just feel like that's just like a popular discussion for people. People like to talk shit. It's whatever, dog.
It's just something to talk about.
It's whatever.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about how you kick off this record. The title track that we actually just saw here in studio, the music video for, which is killer, is actually track 7 on the record, but it almost sounds like it could be an opener.
Okay.
When you looked at the sequencing and you laid out the track list, why not open with the title track?
Once again, I do what the fuck I want to do.
Okay. Well, obviously, but can you take us through maybe like the mindset of what, or the thought process?
That's the mindset.
So what told you to do that?
The way that the album is set up, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the experience that I wanted to create.
And what experience is that?
Where you start off kind of, you know, upbeat, up-tempo. You work your way into the more in-depth stuff. And then you're in a ride, you know what I'm saying? Your seatbelt is fastened, and you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about the record, in addition, obviously, to your work, is the collaborations you've got on. You got some old friends on this record.
Yep.
Snoop appears on Penthouse. What is the friendship that you've had with Snoop throughout your career meant to you?
Snoop is my homie, my mentor, my partner, my brother, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's always good to be able to have him involved and like coaching me on. And the main thing that he always does is just make sure that I'm being myself. He's like, Wiz, you so awesome. You so cool. People love you so much. Like, you don't have to be like nobody. You don't got to be like Snoop Dogg. You don't got to be like this person. Just always be Wiz. So that's the most important thing he always tells me.
Sometimes there's that friend, you know, that you check in with because at times it feels like they know you better than you know yourself at times. Is that Snoop for you?
Well, he's got so much experience and so much knowledge in the game. So it's like, when you want to look to somebody for advice, those are the best people, you know what I mean? Because he's going to give me the easy button. He's going to tell me what's going to help me as opposed to hurting me. And it's like he's been through it before, so he's speaking from experience as opposed to just like judging me or anything like that.
Yeah, and I understand you got him onto the MMA kick.
Yeah, yep.
What is he doing?
He's killing it.
Yeah? I mean, you do Muay Thai. Is he doing Muay Thai?
He does everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what got you into the Muay Thai?
Just life.
Just life.
Yeah.
All right. Are you a big UFC fan?
Yeah, it's growing because it's like there's so many superstars. Not just UFC, Bellator. There's like different.
Oh, so you're really into it?
Yeah, well, got to. I meet a lot of fighters, you know what I'm saying? So it's like they fight everywhere. Some of them underground, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you watch the product, the UFC, Bellator, MMA? Did you watch it before you started training?
Not as much as I do now, where I could like keep up with it and stuff like that. It's different now that I train. So, yeah.
That's cool, man. Did you watch the pay-per-view the other week?
Yeah, well, I was in Europe, so I got to see a couple of the fights.
Is that like destination, like watching for you? Like, do you need to seek it out if you're like overseas or something like that? Are you that big of a UFC fan?
It's like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's like people who play football, they watch it in their off time. People who box, they watch boxers and they study it. So it's more like homework, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly homework. Like you probably watch it in an entirely new way now.
Yeah, definitely.
What are your thoughts on Cormier versus Lesnar?
I mean, I don't really share my thoughts when it comes to that stuff.
No? Is that just out of respect for like fellow fighters?
Well, it's like I'm a musician, so that's what I talk about.
All right, then let's kick the music, man. Speaking of old friends and collaborations on this record, we got Ty, of course. Final song on the record. Did you call Ty when he went #1 with Psycho?
I did. I FaceTimed him for sure.
Yeah? What did that conversation go like?
It was like, congratulations, nigga.
I mean...
Yep.
And that was it? Is that short?
Yeah.
Well, it must have been, not underwhelming, but you're somebody that has seen that in Ty from jump.
Yeah.
So what have you seen from him from the jump?
Well, he's a really hard worker. He's super talented. He's really creative. So when you put all of those things together, I feel like that you get the type of success that he has. And he's good to everybody. He's a really cool dude. Like, everybody that knows him loves Ty. He smokes a ton of pot, so it's like, that's my boy.
There is something special about Ty because I've interviewed him a couple times, and he's just a positive aura. I mean, there are nice people, but there's just like something extra with him, and I know you go anywhere around the country, radio hosts will tell you that.
Yeah, he's very rare, and he's a really good musician. Like, he plays tons of different instruments, and like he's always working and practicing on his craft, which I appreciate from somebody like him. He's really talented, so he could just chill and kind of, like do it whenever he wants to, but he's always working, man, and it motivates me to work as well.
Totally. And I understand, wasn't the song, he was already on the song. Like, you were working next door in the studio, and you hopped in the next
Well, that's
room?
how Berg or Hitmaker makes his songs, where it's like he'll just kind of put everybody together just based off of his relationships and knowing who he knows and how to, put music together. So it was like I was in an album cycle where I was working with Hitmaker for a lot of different songs. And that happened to be one of them. It was just an idea that they had came up with. And he did Ty's verse first, and then he played me the version with just him, with Ty on the hook. And I was like, yeah. And I did my verse. He was like, just put a verse on it. And I did it. And then I listened to it, and I was like, no, this is my song. I was like, I'm putting another verse on there. So I stole it.
That's funny, though, because, you think about you and you think about Ty as almost synonymous. Were you working on other stuff with Ty for this record before that sort of happenstance?
Well, like I said, we always working, so we're always in the studio. And the way it goes with an album cycle is you just write a whole bunch of songs and figure out which ones are the best ones.
Right.
And so you go in the studio for 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, you know what I'm saying? But it's like you work with everybody who you trust. So me and Ty, we got multiple songs that we recorded in that cycle. That was the biggest one to come out.
Yeah.
Yep.
We wound up with 25 on the record. How many do you think you worked down from?
Like 300.
300?
Yeah.
And what is that over? Like a time period?
Like 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
what's the oldest song, the first one that you laid down that actually made it on the final record?
Not the first one that I laid down, but probably the oldest one is probably like Be Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that took actually 3 years to write, because it was like each situation happened at different times in my life, and I had the song at each point. So I was able to write a verse here, I was able to write a verse there, and I was able to finish it off. And yeah.
Be Okay is a song on the record that I did want to ask you about because it finds you sort of not reminiscing, but looking back at a lot of big moments in your life.
Yep.
How much of what you say on Be Okay are you actually saying for the very first time out loud?
I don't think I've never said it out loud, but maybe on a track. I always put like hints and little jewels and gems in my music, but for me to sit down and do a whole track about it, like Be Okay definitely stands out and is a special one when it comes to that.
There was a little bit of that, not a theme, but Wiz looking back on stuff on this
Yeah.
record that I felt throughout listening to it.
Yep.
What is that a product of? Is that just where you're at in your life? Is that fatherhood? Is that this new era you're entering into? What is that?
I think the reflection part of it is just like, you know, you got to remind yourself sometimes. And just, you got to remind yourself where you come from. You got to remind yourself how awesome you are. You got to remind yourself what you're capable of. And that's just like that self-affirmation that everybody should own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of where you come from, man, a collaboration I'd like to get your thoughts on is, of course, Jimmy Wapo appears on the record. We lost Jimmy last month in the city of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know Jimmy's work because he was kind of on the come up and he was just about to, you know, pop off. For those that aren't familiar with Jimmy, can you kind of speak to his talents and where you saw his career going? Because I understand you were just days away from signing Jimmy, maybe taking him out on the road.
The majority of his fan base is like really cult following, like that he built on his own through the internet, through his music and things like that. And like hella people support him just because he's like the new wave. And just he did his own thing, you know what I'm saying? He was always him, picked his own beats, worked hard. And like I said, like in the industry or in the music business, like when you combine talent with hard work and passion and stuff like that, you only get the best things. And he had all of those. And he was definitely moving in the right direction.
And what was special about him, tell me if I'm misspeaking, but there's a lot of different parts of Pittsburgh in the city, but essentially every neck of the woods was a fan of Jimmy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Even like younger kids too, like, you know what I'm saying? Like in middle school and stuff like that. He had them singing his lyrics.
Do you feel a responsibility to sort of mentor whoever is up next in Pittsburgh, just being one of the, you know, if not the biggest
definitely.
Pittsburgh rapper of all time? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Is that something you take pretty seriously?
It's just like natural, like being the big homie. I got a lot of big homies, so it's like, you know, you do the best thing with your talents and with your gifts. You pass it on, you know?
Yeah. You had an interesting relationship with Pittsburgh. If you think back to the, you know, start of your career, you wrote This Plane, which is one of my favorite songs, kind of about almost like a wake-up call to Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you better get on this wave or else you're going to miss it.
Right.
Then you write Black and Yellow, if I have the time right, maybe a year later, within that year?
Like 2 years maybe.
2 years later. So, I mean, what led up to Black and Yellow? Was that all at all related of, was Black and Yellow almost like a, if you don't love me, then I'm going to give you the biggest anthem and you're going to have to love me?
Nah.
No?
I had bought a bunch of jewelry, and it was yellow diamonds, it was black diamonds, and I wrote a song about it.
It was that simple.
Yeah.
Did you see it becoming the anthem? That
Yeah. Because it was like, I wrote a bunch of songs, and I mean, like, I would calculate everything. I know when I'm writing a song for the radio. I know when I'm writing a song for my mixtape. So I was completely out of mixtape mode. I had done Cushion Orange Juice. I had done How Fly. I had done all of that stuff on the underground level. So I was like, I'm about to take it to the next level. And I was just linked up with these producers at the time. And it was different because they had never done a hip-hop song before. So they were just known for, like, pop hits and shit like that. I was like, I can make a song over anything. Like, just give me the beat. And they gave me the beat, and I wrote Black and Yellow in like 5-10 minutes. But it's like, honestly, I always do a song about Pittsburgh. Ever since the beginning of my career, like, one of my first songs that came out was Pittsburgh Sound. It was like, if I'm going to be on the radio or if I'm going to be on TV, I'm going to be repping the Berg. That was always my intention. So you'll see it at multiple levels of my career. It was just Black and Yellow was the one that took off.
Right on. So Black and Yellow, 2010, 2011. You write This Plane, I believe, 2009.
Yeah.
When was the song or the moment where you felt, okay, the tides had turned, Pittsburgh is giving me the love that I want from the city?
It was back when I dropped Prince of the City too, really. Me and my niggas was on fire. We had produced everything. We had recorded everything. We shooting our own videos. So I was in the club, I had a big-ass chain. It was lit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You talk about being calculated or strategic. I forgot the word that you use, but are you somebody that thinks about the numbers?
No.
You don't?
Nope.
Okay, so you're strategic, but whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
What's your relationship like with, at least by the numbers, your biggest hit, right? See You Again with Charlie Puth.
Mm-hmm.
It's your biggest hit, 12-week #1 a couple years back, but it's off of a soundtrack. It's got another artist on it. Like, does that lessen your sort of kinship with the record?
What you think?
I don't know.
When you type in See You Again, whose name pop up?
I know you're the lead artist.
I'm just saying, whose name pops up?
I don't know, man. I haven't YouTubed.
You haven't YouTubed it?
Not in a while.
You don't have a nephew who watches it?
Billions of people have watched it.
My connection is very strong with the song.
Yeah. What does that song personally mean to you?
It just signifies a lot of good things. Like, the verses are personal. So, like, you know, I dug deep and wrote those verses. And the success of the song is all based off of the people. And not like, you know, corny shit or brainwash. So it's like when the people support you and they champion you to the top, you got to trust them and you got to believe in them. This is bigger than me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the beat selection. You've got really something for everybody on this record, and I really mean that. You got like I forget the song, but you got a great like kind of East Coast flavor with a big horn. I forget the song though; it's escaping me. And then you got, of course, Gin and Drugs, I believe, is the name of the song, kind of like a G-Funk West Coast flavor. What is the beat selection process like for you when you're heading into a project as big as this one?
I just try to cover all bases. Like I said, I recorded like 300 songs in the process. So it's like whatever vibe I'm in, I'll just dive really deep into that, and I'll make a couple songs that are all in that pocket, and then I just try to pick the best moments and the best ones and really tighten those up and make those the ones that people see.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you almost look at a track listing as like a year and seasons, right? Like in terms of maybe seasons or flavors or vibes? No? Okay.
It's like, nah.
How do you see it?
I don't want to tell people my thought process.
Okay.
Niggas be out here trying to make albums that sound like mine.
It's very true. Tay Keith is a producer that you've got on here, and what's cool that you did with Tay Keith is that you kind of took his sound in a different direction, if I'm not mistaken, with the Gucci Mane song. Can you talk about that, of like taking, you know, a known producer and kind of making him do just something a little bit different for you?
Well, with Tay Keith, he's really multi-dimensional, and I feel like his sound got out there because of the popularity of the artist on there, but he's got so much music, and being that he's from Memphis, he's really, like, musically talented. He knows different things about music that other producers might or might not know. So he has a wide range of music and beat selections, and for me, it was just what I gravitated towards the most. I had like 5 or 6 beats from him, and they were all amazing, but it was like Real Rich was the most standout, identifiable record, and that's what I'm all about, is just standing out, being myself.
Yeah. And when did Gucci hop on it?
I recorded the song. I played it for the label without Gucci's verse on there, and they loved it. And then as soon as, if I could get the label to go crazy, then it's like, all right, let's just put some sugar on top and sprinkle some crack on it, and then we good. So, yeah, that's what we did. We put Gucci on there.
Tay Keith is really exciting, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on if you feel like he is like the next up when you think about super producers like a Mike Will or a Metro Boomin, just because.
I think Tay Keith's on the list. I think TM88 is really, really next up.
Who's also on the record.
He's on the album, hella. But TM, he spreads, like, he got so many songs, so many artists, and so many different styles. He's coming out with his own album. TM is definitely like, and Sledgerin and E-Dan. Do
you have a favorite song on that record?
Well, right now it's Mr. Williams. Okay. It switches every day.
Does it really? Why is today Mr. Williams?
Because that's what I woke up and wanted to hear.
Really?
Yeah.
Just the vibe.
Yep.
So I got a picture, and it's not you with boxing gloves in Miami, don't worry.
Cool.
But I got a picture from your Instagram that I wanted to ask you about.
Let's see. Okay.
When is this from?
Cushion. I think that's the Cushion Orange Juice show in L.A. and at Long Beach.
And what is this? Is this a staple of your live shows?
Yeah, we throw those in the crowd at every show.
Those are like inflatable.
Yeah, inflatable joints.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Now you're hitting the road with Rae Sremmurd.
Yep.
Who else is on this bill?
Lil Skies and OT Genesis.
All right. You ever toured with any of those guys?
Nope.
No. All right. So what do you think about when you're putting together like that bill for a summer tour? Because you're doing the amphitheaters, which I think is like an awesome vibe.
Yeah. Honestly, I go out on tour with people that I'm cool with, who I can actually talk to and be like, yo, I want to go on tour. Like, I told OT Genesis 2 years ago that I was going to take him on tour. He just did. I don't know if he believed me or not, but I was like, I just love his music. He got hits, and I was like, we going on tour, nigga. Like, we fun. Like, we got to have a good time. Rae Sremmurd, I met them a long-ass time ago, and they came out on my set when I was in Dallas, and I've always been a fan of their energy and their music. I've always supported them and played their music at my shows and shit like that, so that's natural. And Lil Skies, he's like, He's like the next generation, you know what I'm saying? And I dig his approach to music, how melodic he is, and like his performance, how much energy he has. So that's like me being the big homie and like, you know, making sure that the young homie get to where he's supposed to get the right way.
Totally.
Yep.
Totally. All right, well, we're going to turn it over to the audience. We've got some studio audience questions. The first will come from right here.
What's up, dude?
Hey, Wiz. So obviously fatherhood's really big in your life. And my question is, does Bash want to follow in your footsteps as becoming a musician? And as if he was to become an entertainer, what kind of advice or things to not do would you tell him to?
He definitely told his school when he grows up he wants to be a rock star. So he's watching his dad. And the things that I would tell him to do is just like, you know, just always use your head. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's going to have his own path. And I always tell people, like, a passion for music doesn't mean that you have to be in the music business or even necessarily be an artist. So whatever he does, he's going to be great at it, and he's going to fucking rule. Like, just be better than me.
Let's get to our second one. It'll come from right here.
What's up, dude?
Hey, how you doing, Wiz? My name is Devontae. I wanted to ask you, you know, what is your biggest inspiration for doing music other than, like, weed and stuff like that?
My biggest inspiration for music it's really like the feeling that music gives you, because I've been listening to music since I was, you know, in kindergarten. You know what I mean? I had like a Walkman, you know what I'm saying? And it's like just having your music, your musical selection, and being able to zone out and listen to music. The feeling that I get from music is so powerful. To be able to recreate that and to give that to other people, that's what drives me.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
Thank you.
We've got time for one final question.
Hi.
Hey,
Big fan of your work.
thank you.
And I just wanted to ask you, why did you wait so long to come out with Rolling Papers 2? Since Rolling Paper, I remember, came out in 2011. It's like a 7-year jump. What
Yeah.
made you want to like postpone the process or have it come out now with your?
I had like a
20
little point in my career where I switched management. So during that time, I couldn't really release music because it was like up in the air legally, you know? So now that all of that stuff is settled, I'm able to put out albums the way that I usually do. Yeah.
I got one final question. I know we're out of time, but I meant to ask you about probably my favorite discovery off the record is the Moonlight.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the Moonlight?
They're twins.
Okay, and they're from South Asia.
Yeah.
And I think they like to say they're the only identical twins in R&B, which is probably true.
I think so.
But how did you find them? Like, I've never heard of them, and I'm in love with them.
Sledgerin put me on to them. Sledgerin my partner, my big homie, like my brother. He's been my producer forever, pioneered Cushion Orange Juice Sound and all of that. And we was just at the end of the album cycle. And like I said, you know, just tracks was flowing in. And he had sent me a bunch of beats, and he just randomly sent me one with a hook from them on there. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. He was like, man, I didn't even think you was going to like it, blah, blah, blah. And we ended up recording like 4 or 5 more, and I put them all on the album because I knew, like, that sound is just, that's right now, for sure. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, man.
Good look.
All right, we are out of time, unfortunately, Wiz, but thank you very much for taking the time
No
today.
doubt. Thank you guys, too.
In closing, Rolling Papers 2 is out and available everywhere now, and tickets for tour, kicking off later this summer, are available too. Thanks for watching.